Hey, you're a good little fella, aren't you? Alright, please don't get us lost today. Okay, off you go.
Hi, it's Sarah and Cooper from TravelLiveLearn.com. Over the past 6 months or so, we have been house and pet sitting our way around the world, and we've learnt a few things along the way. And today, we want to share with you some tips, 11 in fact, 11 things that house and pet sitters absolutely must do.
Tip 1, make sure the lines of communication are open before, during and after your sit. Before, make sure you touch base so you can develop that relationship nice and early. During your sit, it's important that you send updates in the form of videos and pictures. We always set up a WhatsApp group, that way the lines of communication is always open. And after your sit, make sure you leave a thank you note and a review.
Tip 2, find out what the house rules are. Now, read the welcome manual if your homeowner has left instructions for you. Any notes or emails or videos they've sent, always go through them thoroughly. Ask questions and remember simple things that you might do at home, like when to leave the bins out and where your pets are allowed. Like if you're looking after dogs, are they meant to be on the bed with you?
Tip number 3, double check what happens if the pet is unwell. Now, for the most part, all the information is in the welcome guide, but we always make sure we have this chat with the owners before they leave, because they'll always have a plan and some contact numbers of vets or people that you can speak to if this situation happens.
Exactly, in case of an emergency.
Yes.
Tip 4, following on from that, make sure you know what to do if you're unwell. We've been pet sitting and house sitting in other countries where we don't have access to the national health system. We don't necessarily know what the emergency number is, so make sure you do know where your nearest pharmacy is, your doctors are, and who to call, what number to call in an emergency. Very, very important.
Tip number 5, check what to do if you lock yourself out.
Oh, the nightmare.
It would be terrible. Who do you go and see? Who has a spare key? Do you go and visit the neighbour? Have you been introduced to this person? Now, one of our last sits, this lady was very clever. She left a laminated card hidden in the garden for us, and it had a list of all the phone numbers of people we could contact if we did lock ourselves out of the house.
And didn't have our phones.
Yes. Very embarrassing.
Yeah. Tip 6, where are all your contacts? What happens if you lock the phone inside or lose your phone and you've got everything in a notepad message or something like that? Make sure you have a backup plan. So we have information stored in cloud servers, whether that be Dropbox, our email, or the Trusted House Sitters website. We have to memorize our passwords for those. We can at least access a computer or someone else's phone and log into those services in case of an emergency when we don't have access to our own devices.
Tip number 7, it's very important that you commit to what you've agreed to. Make sure you lock the house when you go out. Do you have to set the alarm? Yeah. Don't invite people over without speaking to the owners first. And, of course, don't leave the dog overnight by itself unless you've pre-arranged with the owners first.
Tip 8, the simple one. If you break it, replace it. We accidentally broke a glass kettle on our first sit. Yeah, okay with me. We did get straight on Amazon to replace that to the closest brand that we could, and our homeowners, they said we didn't need to do that, but there was no way we weren't going to replace it. It's just the right thing to do.
Tip number 9, leave the house the way you found it. Don't rearrange the furniture, don't go eating all the food and drinking all the alcohol in the house. Now, if you do see a chocolate bar in the fridge and you think, oh, I wouldn't mind that, that's okay, you can't eat it, but make sure you replace it. Same with the alcohol. Very, very important. Remember, respect the rules of the house.
Tip 10, be prepared for special care requirements. If you know that you are heading for a sit with an older dog or potentially a rescue dog that might have anxiety, ask your owners all the questions that you might need answers to. Maybe your dog having separation anxiety. Do you need to make sure they're in a certain place for bedtime? Will they freak out if you leave the house? Just be prepared so that the animals in your care are at ease when you're around.
Tip number 11, most importantly, enjoy your time. Make sure you go out and explore the local area. Check out the cafes, go and have a pint at the pub. Interact with the locals. When we go on our walks, it's the most enjoyable time because you get to meet other dog crazy people.
Everyone's
like
so nice too.
Yeah.
Through house sitting, we've ended up in places that we never imagined. So definitely get out and explore these places because, you know, you've ended up there for a reason. If you're interested to go house and pet sitting around the world, stay tuned on travellivelearn.com and youtube.com/travellivelearn. If you subscribe on our blog, we have a free guide right now that'll tell you exactly how you can score house sits.